of trust, serving Micronesia since 1938. Matson celebrating 25 years of commitment to Guam, Micronesia, and the CNMI. Cars Plus Hyundai, home of the Kona electric vehicle, an electric heart with an SUV soul. Test drive yours today at Cars Plus. McDonald's of Guam, I'm Loving It, and King's Restaurant, serving your local breakfast, lunch, and dinner favorites for over 45 years.
Tonight on Your News Leader, it's been more than a decade in the making. Our Daniel Perez has a story from Orda, Chalampago. Malls were packed as island residents make the holiday dash to cash in on Black Friday deals. And covering COVID-19, we head over to the CNMI where our Tomas Maglonia reports on the surge in Saipan. These stories right here, right now on Primetime. Have a good evening, everyone. Guahusi Isaiah again, and thank you for joining us. A major project is underway in the central part of the island. KUAM's Daniel Perez has a story from Orda, Chalampago.
A groundbreaking ceremony was held today here at the Orda, Chalampago area for the new multi-purpose hall.
After 13 long years, the construction of the multi-purpose hall is now underway. Chalampago Orda Mayor Jesse Gogri told KUAM what this means for the village.
Now the multi-purpose center, because of its robustness, will enable us to provide the community with outreaches, educational training, encourage athletic events. We'll actually have a stage like the Phoenix Center to promote performing arts. So this is huge for our village, and we look forward to it coming to fruition.
Not only is a new building being built, but the old one is currently under renovation.
This old building will stay, and it's being renovated, and we've been renovating it over the last 13 years that I've been in office. This will stay, because it's still a functional building. What this center provides you is an extension of services. This really is just a social hall. It's intended for gathering, to have social events, feeding people, that kind of stuff.
As for what they're planning for both buildings,
because it's going to be a fully concreted, full concrete structure, we're looking to leverage this site, this building, as an emergency shelter, and that's huge. The current shelters, what we call the primary shelters for emergencies, are typically the schools. And given the fact that this will be a hardened facility, we think that we can leverage this as a primary shelter, so that when we see a storm, an impending storm, or an impending emergency declaration, instead of automatically thinking about how are we going to close the schools, what are we going to do to get the schools ready, we'll have this as the first line of defense and providing temporary shelter to our people, and then giving Department of Education more time to get their schools ready if we need more sheltering throughout the island.
The estimated completion date for the multi-purpose hall is December 31st, 2023. Daniel Perez reporting for Guam's News Network.
Daniel Perez, thank you for that report. Did you join the crowds of people who flocked to local retail stores? Well, here's what it looked like at Micronesia Mall this afternoon as hundreds took advantage of Black Friday deals. The day after Thanksgiving is known as the most lucrative shopping day of the year, when prices are dropped for those who like getting a jump on their holiday shopping. When out and about, remember to be safe. Don't leave any gifts, merchandise, or valuables in your car. Try to park in well-lit areas. And if you have small children, it might be a good idea to leave them home because of the crowds. Also, because of the pandemic, try to keep your distance and wear a mask. It's been almost a year in the making, but the Department of Administration has finally put out the request for proposal for a new financial management information system. As we've been reporting, a state of emergency for GovGuams and tweeted FMIS was declared via executive order last year and took procurement out of the chief procurement officer's hands and put it in DOA's court. In previous interviews, Director Edward Burns says the new FMIS will significantly help with the federal funding Guam is receiving, as transactions have tripled. Prospective offerers have until December 10th to register for the RFP. The CNMI today reports at least 43 new cases. Saipan remains in the double digits in daily case reports this week amid the holiday season. KUAM's Tomas Maglonia reports.
Community cases are climbing and contact tracers are racing to track more cases.
Currently, there are 3 individuals that are hospitalized as a result of COVID-19. These 3 are unvaccinated individuals and all being actively monitored.
The campaign to vaccinate ramps up.
We are encouraging everyone to please get vaccinated, unvaccinated individuals to get vaccinated against COVID-19. It is free, it is available. We're trying to make it more accessible for everyone.
The spike coming in a matter of weeks, leading public health to have what they describe as targeted vaccinations.
Obviously, we want to reach out to anyone in a congregate living situation and try to encourage them to get vaccinations. So we are going to be literally knocking on their doors, and working with businesses as well, especially with large employment. We want to be able to try to reach out to them and see, what can we do about making the vaccinations more accessible.
That effort comes along with school outreach. Public school students head back to campus on Monday, November 29.
We are seeing hospitalizations for those that are unvaccinated. The ones that are vaccinated have mild symptoms. We also want to encourage anyone who's eligible after 6 months of getting their second dose to start looking at getting their boosters.
Munya also stresses the need for honesty if positive cases are called.
We have individuals that are not providing adequate information or incorrect information, and that doesn't help, because what we're seeing, these cases will continue to rise and we'll continue to see these cases spread. So it's not just about the clusters anymore. We're talking about individuals that are out there probably not knowing that they're infected.
About 85% of the CNMI's eligible population is fully vaccinated. Tomas Maglotnya for KUAM News on Saipan.
Tomas Maglotnya, thank you for that report. Based on data released by Public Health, it verified that the highly infectious Delta variant was a major part of our third surge in COVID cases. Public Health reported that it received 65 new results from virus samples collected on Guam between August 10th to September 30th, which underwent genome sequencing by the CDC. 2 were identified as variants being monitored, while a whopping 63 were identified as the Delta variant of concern. You may recall Guam started to see its spike in cases in August. The former head of the governor's physicians advisory group says that although he's glad that restrictions have been lifted for some, to him, they still don't make any sense.
But I still really wish that they dropped the mandate on the unvaxxed versus vax on attending restaurant and gathering, all that kind of stuff.
According to the latest executive order from the governor and public health guidance, if you're vaccinated, you can eat indoors at a restaurant. But if you're not vaccinated, you eat outside. But if you have a social gathering at your house, up to 25 people, you can have both vaxxed and unvaxxed guests.
In social gathering, there's no mask, no social distance. At least in a restaurant, you have social distance and you require to wear your mask if you walk around the restaurant, unless you sit down and eat. So things like that, it really, to me, doesn't make sense still.
According to Dr. Hoa, with about 90% of the island fully vaccinated and based on our current numbers, all restrictions should be lifted by now.
I think the decision at this point is not really based on data. I hate to say that.
And when the governor does ease us out of restrictions, he's hoping the business community is given a heads up. During her press conference last Friday, the governor indicated we could see more changes as warranted, but cautioned that they don't want to do too much too soon.
Right now, there's no goals set out there, no limits to put out there. So people kind of guess every day of what to do. Just like the restaurant right now, the outdoor, they put everything away. Now they have to spend a lot of money to put it back out again. It's very confusing and very costly for the business to operate and try to survive in this pandemic.
Meanwhile, the former PAG chair says he's been inundated with questions about the new travel quarantine policy. To clear up the confusion, he puts it in more simpler terms. All foreign nationals arriving in the U.S., including Guam, must be fully vaccinated and must have a negative test results 3 days prior to arrival. As for U.S. citizens that are fully vaccinated transiting through Japan or Hawaii, no test is needed. However, if you're a U.S. citizen fully vaccinated and visiting a foreign country, when you return, you must have a negative test result within 72 hours prior to arrival. If you're not vaccinated, you must have a negative test within 24 hours before arrival.
In this final segment of 6 Feet Apart, 6 Feet Under, KUAM's Tomas Manglona covers what's healing, recovery, and hope look like amid the pandemic of our lifetime. It's a simple but powerful message that could save a life. You are not alone.
Some describe it as the aftermath of a pandemic we're still in. The mental anguish of isolation, death, and financial stress can be unbearable.
Because COVID does not discriminate. Every economic level, every background, every ethnicity, we all struggled with COVID the same way. We all had the same worries. Whether you were a government employee, a GBWIC employee, or not, we all had the same worries. Worries about our children, our family getting sick, and the unknown of COVID at the time.
Those unknowns mounted on the stressors of life before the pandemic hit.
You're going to have a harder time because you're already dealing with struggles. And so, close to 2 years later, I call this the aftermath. So I've always stated, Guam Behavioral Health is one of the three healthcare agencies. You have public health, who was at the forefront of the fight of the pandemic. And you had Guam Memorial Hospital, who of course was seeing and dealing with the sick and the deaths. And then you had Guam Behavioral Health, who was dealing with the anxiety and depression of the entire island.
They've literally answered the calls for help. A record number of people called their crisis hotline, at one point over 800 a month.
You're going to see a lot of people, continue to see their counselors, and some, unfortunately, might need medication. So it's a combination of medication and therapy. But the good thing about it is there is hope, and you're not alone.
A simple but powerful message that could help someone in need.
How the community can bring everyone to a place of healing is to, first of all, be honest in speaking to one another. As we begin to gather for the holidays, as we begin to gather and talk more and more, whether it's face-to-face or on Zoom or on calls, just really being honest and truthful to one another, and if anything that COVID taught us is the need to continue to be to check up on the people you love and care for.
She says it is natural to seek and get help.
We want the people of Guam to get the help they need. You do not need to struggle by yourself. That's why we exist, and that's why we're here to serve.
Tomas Manglona for KUAM News.
This afternoon, the Guam Police Department arrested Jathan John Pangalina Tataltao. The Criminal Investigation Section detectives had been working on locating Tataltao for several opening criminal crimes ranging from violent felony cases to theft-related cases. He had been eluding law enforcement officials for months and had outstanding arrest warrants issued by the Superior Court of Guam. According to a GPD release, CIS detectives were activated when patrol officers from Central Precinct Command had found Tataltao, who was in possession of a stolen vehicle and suspected narcotics. Tataltao was arrested for a long list of offenses, some with multiple counts: aggravated assault, guilt established by complicity, theft of a motor vehicle, conspiracy, robbery, kidnapping, theft by receiving, theft of property, carjacking, burglary to a vehicle, family violence, illegal possession of a Schedule II controlled substance, and warrants of arrest. Tataltao was booked and confined. Stay tuned, we've got more news after the break.
Get up-to-the-minute news, plus access to alerts, streaming radio, promotions, and more on your mobile device by downloading the KUAM News mobile app, available at the App Store now.
Our family was recently challenged with a difficult medical condition where my son needed a liver transplant. And I asked Cabo Select Care to assist me with that, and he required off-island care. In fact, it can only be taken care of off-island. So Cabo Select Care was there to help with all the referrals and the off-island coverage.
Cabo Select Care, healthcare that's always there for you. Federal employees and annuitants, enroll today.
And instant prizes from Foot Locker and Burger King. Win the best-selling 2021 Toyota Corolla LE, the crossover SUV 2021 Toyota RAV4 LE, and the dynamic luxury SUV 2021 BMW X1. The more you shop, the more chance to win. In the Micronesia Malls, shop and win.
Half a day. This is Governor Lou Leon Guerrero. If you're struggling to pay rent and utilities because of the pandemic, your government can help. Our Emergency Rental Assistance Program provides direct relief to you. To date, over $6.9 million has helped over 1,500 households.
Apply online at eoa.guam.gov or call the Department of Administration's Emergency Rental Assistance Program at 671-638-4518 or 19.
It's a special delivery to your inbox every week with your KUAM News Roundup, program advisories, and promotions. Sign up for the weekly KUAM Digital Digest today on KUAM.com.
Welcome back. It opened just in time for Black Friday and to kick off the holiday shopping season, but you'll have to travel to Manila to take advantage. Ikea, the world's largest furniture retailer, officially opened its largest store ever on Thursday. KUAM's Nestor Lecanto reports.
The Swedish furniture giant held a gala grand opening at the Mall of Asia complex in Metro Manila. Ikea is known for its modernist designs and eco-friendly simplicity in ready-to-assemble furniture and appliances. Earlier, we spoke with Ikea Philippines manager and head of regional market development, George Platzer.
Whenever you see an Ikea furniture in a movie or a TV show or wherever, many people immediately say that's Ikea. So it makes us unique, as I say, because we have it in control and we take it very serious. So whether it's a simple spoon or it's a bookshelf, all these 5 key elements of democratic design play an important role.
He says the elements are low prices, quality of product, environmental sustainability, attractive looks, and perhaps most important, functionality.
You might know that, Nestor, that you very often you see beautiful products, fantastic design, they look nice, right? Maybe they even have a good price, but then you start using them and then you realize that they are not really working as I need them to work, right? So functioning is a super important key element for us.
He says Ikea prides itself on its continuous product development and incorporating local designers in the more than 50 countries it serves. Platzer is inviting Guam shoppers, who hopefully will be able to travel to Manila soon, to stop by the new largest Ikea in the world for the unique in-store experience, which includes sampling their world-famous Swedish meatballs.
So make sure that you feel welcome to join us and to take at least 2 hours of your time. It's going to need 2 hours, and then you get all the excitement and inspiration we promise you now. I promise you now personally. So, and I have to come to Guam as well. I think it should be beautiful to discover. I've never been there.
Reporting from Manila for Guam's News Network, I'm Nestor Lecanto.
Noel Enriquez has been appointed by the U.S. Army as the new civilian aide to the Secretary of the Army, or CASA. He was among 9 sworn in by the Secretary of Army, Christine Warmouth, at the Pentagon recently. Enriquez says he's extremely honored and humbled to have the Secretary select him for this very important position, allowing him to continue his service to this great nation and especially to the island of Guam. He's looking forward to working with and supporting our soldiers and their families of the Guam National Guard and the Army Reserve, and assisting soldiers with their Army careers. Enriquez is a 1984 Naval Academy graduate. He retired after 30 years of service at the rank of captain. CASAs promote good relations between the Army and the public and advise the Secretary about regional issues. Fitch Ratings has affirmed the BBB issuer default rating and the BBB bond rating on approximately $524 senior revenue bonds issued by the Guam Power Authority. The company also issued a stable outlook for GPA. According to the Fitch, there are factors that could improve GPA's ratings, such as completing and operating the Ukuru power plant. Factors that can have a negative rating action include GPA failing to implement rate increases that are sufficient to achieve its financial targets. The Guam Community College is currently developing a scholarship program for the LGBTQ community. GCC President Dr. Mary Okada says the program stems from a conversation at the Engagement and Empowerment, or E2 Symposium last year. The event brings people together from Guam, Micronesia, and the Marshall Islands to discuss the challenges of marginalized groups in the region. Dr. Okada adds the National Science Foundation of the Division of Research and Learning is currently working on the scholarship parameters.
During the conversation, one question that I did ask was, what can the college do to help support the LGBTQ community? And so one suggestion was, it would be really helpful if GCC would set up a scholarship. So at the recent foundation board meeting, the foundation did approve the first ever LGBTQ community scholarship for $1,000.
GCC is hoping to launch the LGBTQ Scholarship by spring of 2022. The award will be open for GCC's current and incoming students. GCC is looking into a vaccine mandate for their students. GCC President Dr. Mary Okada says if the mandate is